IELTS Life Skills A1 Spouse Visa Test.
Hello everyone, this is Angelina. I'm an IELTS coach and a language trainer, and I welcome you back to another video for the preparation of IELTS Life Skills A1 Speaking and Listening Test. In this video, I'm going to tell you about 4 new questions that the examiner is asking these days. These questions are new. So let me tell you what are those questions. Let's start. Question number 1. What's the weather like in your country? Do you know how to answer this question? Now you might be thinking that what kind of weather people like in your country. No. If the examiner will ask you, what's the weather like in your country? It means, how is the weather in your country? All those viewers watching me right now, these days, this question is very common, and this question is being asked around the world. What is the question? What's the weather like in your country? The meaning is, how's the weather in your country? What's the weather like in your country means, how's the weather in your country? Now understand, if the examiner will ask you, what's the weather like in your country? You have to say, these days the weather is hot in my country. Or you can say, mostly the weather is hot in my country. For example, if you're living in Bangladesh where the weather remains hot for 7 to 8 months, this means that mostly the weather is hot in your country. If you're living in India where the weather is hot for 7 to 8 months, still you would say mostly the weather is hot in my country. If you're living in Pakistan also the weather is hot in most parts of the country throughout the year, right? But if you're living in Canada, or if you're living in Sweden, if you're living in Italy, if you're living in Germany, then you know that the weather remains cold most of the months, right? 6 to 7 months the weather remains cold. At that point in time, you can say, mostly the weather is cold in my country, right? Or if you're talking about your home country, maybe you come from Africa, maybe you come from UAE. So mostly the weather is hot in my country. Or you can say, these days the weather is hot in my country. There's one more answer to it for those people who understand English and they want to say more, that in my country summers are very hot, in winters the weather is cold, but autumn and in spring the weather is pleasant. So the examiner is asking you, how's the weather in your country? What's the weather like in your country? It depends on you. These are the 3 answers. I'm going to read once again. Number 1, these days the weather is hot in my country. Answer number 2, mostly the weather is hot in my country. Answer number 3, summers are hot in my country. Winters can be very cold. And in spring and autumn, the weather remains pleasant. Now let's move to the next question. Question number 2. What do people do in hot weather in your country? Well, that is a new question and people might not know what to say. But I'm here for you and I'm going to tell you what you would say if your examiner will ask you this question. What do people do in hot weather in your country? So you're going to say, people like to stay indoors. People like to drink a lot of water. And people like to eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in my country. You can also say, in hot weather, people in my country like to stay indoors. People in my country like to stay indoors in hot weather. In hot weather, people like to drink a lot of water. In hot weather, people eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, right? And people don't do outdoor activities. People like to rest in the afternoon. You can choose even one line answer. If your examiner will say, what do people do in hot weather in your country? So you can say, in hot weather, people in my country like to stay at home, drink a lot of water, and eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Full stop. That's all. Right? Moving on to the question number 3. Can you guys guess? Well, this question is a little bit different. The question is, what things do you like to talk about with your friends? Now, people get so nervous that what things do you like to talk about? It's just, what do you like to talk about with your friend? When you call your best friend, what do you like to talk about? I like to talk about my family with my friend. I like to talk about new shopping mall with my friend. I like to talk about my children with my friend. I like to talk about my holiday with my friend. I like to talk about my daily routine with my friend. Isn't it? That's right. 4th question is, do you live in a house or in a flat? It's not a difficult question, but it is somehow new. So if the examiner will ask you, do you live in a house or in a flat? Flat means apartment. So you can say, I live in a house. A house is a separate place. Apartments usually have many floors. Floor 1, ground floor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Different floors, right? And you can tell that I live in a house or I live in a flat. Then the examiner will ask you, what do you like about your house? What would you say? You can say, I like many things about my house, but my favorite room in my house is my own room. I like the TV lounge in my house and I like the balcony in my house. I also love the walls of my house. Anything you can say? Question number 5. Tell me about a special day in your country. A special day in your country. Special day in your country could be Independence Day, could be any religious day, or could be any other public holiday like Defense Day or any other day, right? So I would like to ask you, what is the most special day in your country? And what is your favorite special day in your country? What can you say? My favorite special day is Independence Day, right? Or you can say my favorite special day is Eid, maybe in your country people like to celebrate religious festivals. You can also say a special day in my country is Christmas, right? A special day in your country, a day in your country that everybody celebrates, that is a special day in your country. So you can also, if the examiner will say, what is your favorite special day in your country? So you can say, my favorite special day in my country is Independence Day. I like to celebrate with my family and friends. Or Eid is my favorite special day in my country. Everybody celebrates Eid in my country. You can also say, my favorite special day in my country is Christmas. I like to dress up. I like to go out with my friends and all that. Well, I hope you learned something. These 4 questions are absolutely new, so I hope this video helps you. Thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again.